Hey there, you, me, and DC fans, and welcome if you're new. I am the Stepson of Krypton,
I'm Mantis.
and today we are getting back into the topic of Batman, the uncertain and untold. And that comes after new information from James Gunn. Mantis, are you ready to get on into this topic? Because I know you love Batman.
Sadly, yeah.
All right, he's excited, guys. Don't let that sad demeanor deter you. So I don't want to waste any more time on the intro, guys. Let's just go ahead and get on into it because we do have a lot to discuss. All right, guys. So if you've been fans of the channel and been watching us for a while, we do appreciate it. You know, we have kind of been keeping up with what's going on in the Batman world. We have not only Matt Reeves, the Batman Part 2, kind of in the Elseworlds timeline, but also when James Gunn had announced that he wants to do a Batman, the Brave and the Bold. Now, for those of you who are familiar with The Brave and the Bold, it was a comic series, kind of a whole thing that it's run for a very, very long time, back from like the 50s all the way up to like early 80s. And then they did an animated series. There's been an animated movie on it. So there's a whole kind of storyline with the Batman, the Brave and the Bold, and kind of just your villain of the week and all that good stuff, right? Well, that's not going to happen in this one. However, James Gunn did just release some more news in regards to the status of the Brave and the Bold. Mantis, do you kind of want to start breaking into that?
Yeah. There's I guess it's early as this. I keep thinking we're like in February. We're still in January. At least at the time of recording this, there's going to be an assload of videos we're doing here in the next week or two. So, early January. Big takeaway that James Gunn had said that maybe the Brave and the Bold is going to be moving further and further out on the timeline of the release and pre-production and all of that stuff. So that's not necessarily a horrible thing. I mean, he's mentioned it and he reiterated it again that he didn't want to release two Batman movies at the same time. And we had previously discussed this too on a couple of videos. I think maybe I'm making that up. But we didn't want to have two concurrent. I know you mentioned this. Didn't want to have two concurrent Batmans, even if they were in different universes. Like, because as we know, the Batman and the Batman 2 are in the Elseworlds or other.
I don't mean to be Sean Parker here, but you can drop the. Nobody wants to go to the Facebook, and nobody's afraid of the Batman.
Parallel universe of the DCU. And he didn't want to have both of those out at the same time, which I agree with. At least now I do. I know you're not a fan of the Batman or as much as a fan of it as I am. I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was pretty good. It's not a typical Batman movie, and hopefully the Batman Part 2 is kind of keeps on with the theme of that darker universe, because as we saw from the Penguin show, I loved that show. So if they kind of continue down that road and maybe even have Colin Farrell a bigger part of that, would be great. But he didn't want to release both of them the same year. That's fine. And I guess from the article that you'd posted in our notes here, the pushes the release of that movie, not of the Batman Part 2, but the Brave and the Bold, to 2028. Because the Batman Part 2 is scheduled to release October of next year, 2027. So this is like, we're way out from this. And there's other things happening. We know about the Netflix stuff. We talked about that in another video of how it could affect things. This all may just blow up in everyone's faces. But I don't disagree with James Gunn's choice to make it to where they're not in the same release cycle or same year like that.
I agree. I'm a fan of the one Batman a year, right? Batman year one, one Batman a year. I'm a fan of that. I think people are going to struggle with having two concurrent Batmans, even if they are releasing a year after year, right? I don't think it's a great idea. Personal opinion. I do love Batman. Superman's more my my superhero to go to. Judge me if you will, but I don't think it's gonna be two kind of completely different things. I think it's gonna confuse the people who aren't diehard fans of the character, and your DCU or DCEU is fizzling out right now. I know there are the fans out there that are hoping with everything going on with the Netflix buy and everything that maybe it'll come back and there'll be a resurgence. I just think you need to let it die, especially after how poorly the other movies that were supposed to be in the Elseworlds, like the Joker 2 and things have done, right? That I feel like I get the fucking Penguin series was a huge success, but that's not really like the reason to keep like the Batman 2 going, right? So I just I'm worried that you're going to push back Batman the Brave and the Bold, and this one's not going to do that great, and then you're going to get Batman fatigue, right? Because we're already seeing that in the I won't say we're seeing the fatigue, but we're seeing an overload of Batman right now because
Oh, yeah, we are.
if you know in the comics right now, Mantis has been doing the absolute Batman series and he does amazing at that. But we just had the Arkham Batman release, and then we have another Batman comic, and then we have this new one that has started Batman. So it's like there's a lot of Batman going on right now, and they're all kind of different storylines. Now, I will say the Brave and the Bold that Gunn is wanting to do fits more with this Batman, where it's going to focus on the older Batman with his son Damian Wayne. Kind of exact opposite. You're going to have the Batman running where he's real young and he's still trying to figure out how to Batman, and then you're going to have the older Batman that's going to maybe focus on his son more. Maybe that'll help. I just
honestly
I don't think the Elseworlds thing's going to work. Personal opinion.
I would rather the Elseworlds Batman be better, because from what we just found, another thing that we found out is who he announced as writing said Brave and the Bold, which doesn't give me much confidence.
So real quick before you get into that, because so we obviously know that Andy Muschietti, who directed the Flash movie in the DCEU, he is going to be directing. He is still going to be directing this movie, but who's the writer going to be?
Yeah, Christina Hodson. Which, if you don't know who that is,
You're lucky.
A quote unquote DC veteran, which that alone right there should make you scared, because what DC has done in the past is not great. So, a DC veteran who wrote The Flash, Birds of Prey, and the Batgirl movie.
Now, when he says what DC's done in the past hasn't been great, he's not talking about Man of Steel and things like that. You know, Mantis,
No.
that's Man of Steel and Henry Cavill's Mantis' favorite Superman. So he's not talking about that. He's talking about the shit he just listed. So don't freak out, guys.
It's I mean, in Batgirl didn't even make it off the ground.
They shit can that.
I'm shit canning you.
Like,
yeah,
you know, they were close to shit canning the Flash too. The only thing is they'd already spent $200 million on 220, I think it was. Don't quote me on that. I thought that was the figure I last saw. So they're like, we can't shit can that. We're not Disney, right? So, but yeah, the Batgirl one got shit canned.
Yeah, Birds of Prey was complete garbage. So I mean, and then you said like a report suggests you've been quietly working on a draft since late 2025. I don't know if that necessarily matters, but just based off of her previous works, that does not make me excited at all. Now, I did say that the director Andy Muschietti, sorry, I'm pronouncing, I can't talk today apparently. Apparently that has drawn some mixed reactions. Now, we were discussing before we hopped on the video, but I'll kind of reiterate just shortly here. I don't mind him. He did direct The Flash, which we did. I don't even is that still up there? Our reaction to that movie on our channel. So if you want to check out our reaction to that we still have that
down here, but watch at your own risk. Not because it's our reaction, just the movie.
yeah. I mean, back when we were doing some reaction stuff early in the channel's history, we did do a reaction to The Flash, which I didn't hate it. It just wasn't great. Either way, I don't dislike Andy. Yeah. I mean, the other stuff he's done again, and this goes into my horror film affair that I really love horror flicks, but he did the remakes of It in It Too, and he did the Welcome to Derry series that's on HBO, and they're doing a season 2 of that.
I
Which
mean,
we
he
can kind of
wrote,
discuss.
directed, and produced that.
Yeah, and it's fantastic. Like, I mean, I know this isn't a horror or a film discussion channel, but if you guys like any of that stuff, it's great. It's really good. Especially if you have HBO Max, you need to watch that, or HBO, whatever the fuck it's called now. But kind of tying into
Netflix.
that, there was a kind of thing where they are doing that season 2 of Welcome to Derry, which could kind of conflict with his responsibilities to the Brave and the Bold.
Well, and that's kind of another thing, right? Like, and that's I think what's got people on edge. If you are in the horror, like I've seen the new It's and the old one. I haven't watched Welcome to Derry yet. Horror's not necessarily my category. It's okay, but for me, it's just not my cup of tea. As is like with Mantis. But you're talking about a character like Batman, especially launching into this new universe, right? He hasn't had a lot of those types of titles and a lot of bigger, more well-known. Again, horror is more of a niche category for a chunk of people. I don't know how many. I'm not saying that horror. There's not a big group of you out there that love horror movies. I know there is, but for again, we're talking about like, hey, superheroes that you go take your kids to. The guy already looks like a serial killer. In
He
certain
kind of
pictures.
does. I'll make a point, and you can continue. The fact that he has done like horror movies and maybe he can't do superhero movies. Okay, look, Sam Raimi did Spider-Man, and Sam Raimi's Spider-Man is fantastic. And he also did all the Evil Deads, or not all of them, but the remake and a couple. I think Evil Dead 2 is pretty good. Like his horror stuff is great too. So,
well, and to be fair, if there's a character you'd want him doing, it's probably the Batman to give it that darker tone, right?
Mhm.
So, and honestly, I think it maybe he, like for Clayface and things like
that'd
that,
be
right?
great.
Like that would be good. I'm not saying I'm not the one saying he's not going to do a good Batman. It is concerning when kind of like we had just done. If you've seen our video, I'll have it popping up here. James Gunn, can't keep it up. Giggity. Is that are you going to stretch yourself too thin? Right, because that's another
Right.
problem that happens is James Gunn was trying to be involved in all these projects, whether he's writing, directing, executive producing, but you also have your other responsibilities. Well, when you're filming one of these shows, as like Stranger Things or something, that's hours and hours. I mean, that each episode was damn near a movie, especially the last one. Like that takes a long time. That's why the fucking kids are damn near getting Social Security by the time they got out the 5th season. So it takes a long time. It's a big commitment. And are you going to stretch yourself too thin? Is that going to affect either one, whether it be the 2nd season of Welcome to Derry or Batman the Brave and the Bold? It's something that you do have to kind of consider, because a lot's going to be riding on that, because that's going to be your introduction to Batman in the DCU. However,
Right.
another concern of mine is that if you have been reading this Batman series, you know that one thing they've been doing in there is Damian Wayne is gay in this series. And I know in other Batman iterations that are running concurrent, that's the situation. But that's not always been canon. That's not how the character was introduced in the comics, right? But that's what's
Mhm.
going on currently. And I don't really give a shit what their sexuality is, right? But what I don't want is the focus to be on that, right? I want to see a Batman, and if he is training his son, you obviously know, if you're familiar with Damian Wayne, his mother is Talia al Ghul. There's all of this stuff where of course, Ra's was wanting Batman to take over as the head of the demon's head. There's a lot of shit that goes on in there, and that's what I would want you to focus on. And Damien spent a lot of time with the League of Assassins. Like that's the kind of shit I would want to see, and I worry that they would focus on his sexuality again. I don't care if you want to make a reference that he's gay and keep him gay in the movie. I just don't want that to be a focal point of the movie. I want to see a Batman movie, right?
Yeah.
And
No, I agree.
It's a worry.
That's
I'm
the
sorry,
worry.
it is.
No, that's the worry. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Like, I don't care. I don't care if Batman's a whore and he's banging. Like, I don't care. Like, Batman needs to be fucking Batman. That's the thing, And you're right.
No. Batman does not need to be fucking Batman in this situation.
You know what I mean?
I know. I just had to throw it in.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, and then it's again canon. When I say canon, I'll just say this because it's this is all recent stuff. I'm just pointing out facts here. Okay, this is facts. Okay, Tim Drake came out as bisexual in 2021. Okay, that was 4 years ago in Batman Urban Legends. Okay, recent. The Batman you just showed, the new startup that's been they're on issue 6. It's been 6 months, 5 months. So it's been out 5 months. Okay, he's gay. You know, Damian's gay in that. You know, even John Kent in Super Sun series, John Kent came out as bisexual in 2021. This is all recent stuff. Okay, look, we got in. I don't say we got into an argument. We talked about this in a previous thing about you can't just take something that some crazy writer dreamed up 4 years ago, and now you're going to put that in the movie and expect people to be okay with that version of that character. Whether it doesn't have to be sexuality. It could be they're now they're from a different country, or they look different. Whatever, they're an alien in this one. Like, it's just a lot of that stuff is not going to fly in a movie. I just don't think.
So where I have the problem with, guys, and I understand everybody has their different versions of the comics that they like, but where I have the problem is when I say something like that and people's only response is, well, it's in the comics. It's been in the comics for a year or two, right? The characters existed for fucking, 75 plus, like when they try to do the shit with Superman, I'm like, it's been in your little itty bitty exposure run to the comics, right? Like, for some of the younger people who are watching, or will probably give this a thumbs down, or they hate me. But it's been in for these things here, right? And the reason being is because, like, again, I don't know why sexuality has to come into every goddamn aspect of entertainment nowadays, but I don't fucking care unless I'm watching a rom-com, which isn't gonna fucking happen. I don't really give a shit about people's sexualities. The one thing I loved about, like, when you watch Captain America and things like that, there's an overarching tone, and we've had this exact discussion before on a different video, but there's an overarching tone of, he liked Peggy, and, there was this kind of thing. But, after the first movie and he came back and she's, almost ready to die, like, he didn't focus on relationship. I don't want my characters in heavy, deep relationships. I don't want fucking relationship drama. I want fucking superhero action and story.
Well, and I think that's maybe another worry, because this writer, I mean, you're right. It's like even if you take the actual Brave and the Bold storyline of Damian Wayne, and there is some like drama there, because it's Talia and Bruce is older and he's trying to mentor his son, and you said what James Gunn had mentioned about this movie, and kind of it's not the same as that. You mentioned he's trying to the way he sees it, correct his son's mind space, where he's at mentally, because he was raised by these assassins and a killer, right? There's going to be, I just feel like there's going to be so much drama in this film that I just don't want that right now. I want Batman to be fucking Batman, be the Cape Crusader. And the way James Gunn talked about it, it's going to be way more of the drama aspect in the interpersonal relationships, and the guaranteed, if he's gay, that's going to be a huge part of it. I don't want any of the internal drama. I'll say not any, but like a little bit of it. Now I will say, to break off real quick, I am kind of hypocritical with the whole it's only been canon for 2 years, because I would be totally okay with them saying we're doing an absolute Batman, and that was just created last year, or maybe a year and a half, a couple months,
because we're getting ready, a year and a half, because we're getting ready to have issue almost year and a half, because we're getting ready to have issue 16.
Right, totally different telling of Batman. Nothing can't, like, it's all brand new shit, right? It's fucking awesome. But as Doc Holliday would say, my hypocrisy goes only so far. Okay, so I will say I'm okay with them doing that because it's fucking awesome.
And the thing is, I like that Batman, absolute Batman. If you haven't checked out Mantis's videos on it, I know these are shameless plugs we keep throwing in here, but go check them out. But, like, I like that Batman. I mean, he's like 6'7", 6'9", 420 pounds. I mean, he is a brutal son of a bitch, but the way he has weapons sewn into his body in case of emergency. Like, I love that telling of Batman, right? If you wanted to bring a Batman from, a recent comic, and do that. That's fine. What I'm saying is these little drama aspects that aren't
Yeah.
Batman, right? Like I don't care about his sexuality. Like in Absolute Batman, there's a very brief where they're talking like with him and Selena. It's very brief. You
Yeah,
know,
it's super quick. Yeah.
to be fair, like I liked in the 2025 Superman that David Cornsweet and Rachel Brosnahan, I love their chemistry. I thought they do very, very well, and I thought she did a great Lois Lane. But honestly, when you get into Justice League, like even in the Justice League animated, Lois is hardly in it, right? Like I don't need relationship drama. I
Right.
need Superman to be Superman and be in the Justice League, right? Like relationships just you can make a completely different set of focus on if you want to make a rom-com with them having superpowers, do that again, do that yourself. I want to see good superhero action movies. I want to see these characters come in. Like, do not spend an hour and 10 minutes focus on the relationship and then give me Darkseid or Doomsday in 10, right? Don't
Right.
do that.
Yeah.
Right.
I agree. I don't know. I guess with all of the news and everything that Gunn, all the comments and everything that we have documented from what he's told and done in interviews, I just don't like the direction of Brave and the Bold. And that's why I'm literally hoping that the Batman Part 2 is amazing, because I just don't think this movie, if it gets off the ground in the current state in the direction that it's in, I know I'm not going to like it. I guarantee. I just know I'm not. And right now, as we've talked about and you've mentioned before, James Gunn does not greenlight a project unless the script is completely finished, and then he can say, yes, this is good to go.
Which, so I know you gotta, if you're the co-CEO, you gotta be supportive of the people you're picking, right? So he's got to say supportive things, but I want to hope. I don't know the man. I can't say for sure, but I want to hope if he reads the script and it's just fucking terrible. Because again, we said, and Mantis had said in the beginning when we were first talking about the new DCU, was that Superman is the core foundation. And honestly, guys, we did not plan this. We're both just wearing our Superman shirts, doing a Batman video of all things. But Superman is the core, right? If you don't have a Superman that people are going to love and want to watch, you don't have a Justice League, right? Because he is he's the founding member. He is the heart. He's the powerhouse of it. But Batman, as much as I fucking hate to admit it, is the more popular of superheroes. People think Superman's boring. People love Batman. So Batman is in the same vein as Superman. If you don't have a successful Batman, you aren't going to have a successful rest of the franchise if you're doing a Justice League. If you want to just do Supermans, that's fine. But you aren't going to expand out into the universe if you don't have a successful Batman.
Yeah, I agree. If this is kind of, I mean, you're right. Like, you had to nail Superman, but I think if Batman falls flat, it's going to be kind of over as well.
Because the thing is, as you start doing crossovers, if you have a good Batman, he'll help Superman. As far as the popularity vote, right? People are kind of lame and he's boring and all this.
You're having an image problem.
Don't be ridiculous. I'm Superman.
Yeah, exactly. You're fucking white bread. You're boring.
Batman will help that. Well, if you don't have a good Batman, even with a good Superman, it's not going to be good times. So I'm hoping that he'll read the script. They'll make sure that it fits in line with the vision they're wanting to go with.
I'll put it in, like, I always do this with sports references, but if in baseball, if Superman's your leadoff hitter, okay, he hits a single or a double, and your next couple are okay, maybe you get an out here or there, and your cleanup hitter,
that's your Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow and your Clayface, right?
Yeah,
but
Batman's
your bases loaded.
Yeah, Batman is your cleanup hitter. He's the one that's the most popular. He always comes through. Most every single Batman iteration in the past, I mean, really every single one aside from the couple of the Val Kilmer and George Clooney. I didn't mind Val Kilmer, actually. George Clooney I did not like at all. But he's been your cash cow. It doesn't matter what else is going on. You make a Batman movie, he's popular, he's going to bring money to DC, right? To Warner Brothers. He's your cleanup hitter. You cannot fuck him up, because if your other ones do get out, if your Supergirl has a pop fly and your Clayface or whatever else is next in that line gets out too, you need to drive Superman in He needs to come in as a run, and you have to have Batman. Batman's your most reliable character to do that.
Well, especially when we talk about forming the Justice League, right? Because that's obviously he's clearly stated that's where he wants to go. Well, not only is Batman a founding member, he's your financier of the Justice League too, right? So you have to have a good Batman to make the rest work.
Yeah. He's the one. He's the thought provoking, right? It's always funny because we see this play out in Justice League Unlimited and in other Justice Leagues, right? It's like Superman has the heart and he's gung ho. He's like, we need to go save these people and do this, and then Batman's always like, look, we need to just chill for a second. I need to look at a couple of things on my computer and figure this stuff out real fast. He's the thinker, right? Before they got Red Tornado or whatever. He's the one that kind of devises the plans and thinks the plans through and make sure everything kind of goes the way it's supposed to. If you don't have him in the picture and he's doing what he should be doing and everyone likes that iteration, it's just not going to work.
So I don't know. We'll see, because it's also going to come down to right now, nobody is cast. He squashed the rumor that people had been doing test screens or test auditions for them, the test cast and all that stuff. He squashed that rumor. Nope, they haven't been doing any of that yet. Again, they're going to get the script written, so that's going to also play kind of heavy into it too, as well. Because even if you get a good script, if you don't get a good likable Batman, somebody that's convincing, like you get another George Clooney. Don't get me wrong, I like George Clooney in a lot of stuff, but just not as Batman. But if you get another one of them, it could bomb too. So that's going to depend too. So we're going to have to wait until we get a little more information on it. I just there were some definite worries here. I'm still, guys, and let me know down in the comments how you feel. I'm still just not like a Batman a year, but in two different universes. I just think that's going to be a little much. Could be crazy. We're not going to rule that out. I've not been tested yet. But let us know how you feel about it. Are you excited to see the two different versions of Batman?
It could have a devastating effect, because if the Batman Part 2 release, it's going to release before Batman Brave and the Bold, and it does well, that puts so much pressure on this movie to do well.
What would you know about pressure?
Well, here's the thing. You've been a while, like I say a while, you've been since, Batfleck, but you've been a bit without a Batman movie, right? So if this one does well, now you have something recent to compare it to, right? People are like, this was cool. You did something completely opposite and people hate it.
Recency biases, right? It's recency bias. Exactly. Yeah.
That's why I use him for. He's got all the terms. He's just there with them. The recency bias. And they're like, oh, well, this one was great. You did this shitty. Well, this is in your main universe. So what are you gonna do? Oh, we'll cross over the Elseworlds and we'll bring Robert Pattinson in there. So I also think it's kind of interesting that Scarlett Johansson and Sebastian Stan are going to be in the Batman 2 right now. Scarlett Johansson, both of them are listed on IMDb, but Scarlett Johansson's not listed who she's going to play. But Sebastian Stan's going to be Harvey Dent.
One last question.
What?
Harvey Dent.
Oh, fuck my face.
Can we trust him?
No.
Yeah.
Right. So that's interesting. Is that, I mean, you, with the bringing back of Chris Evans as Captain America, clearly everything that's been happening and with Captain America and Winter Soldier and all that in the MCU, he's probably like, you know what, there's not going to be a lot of place for me going up in fucking Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars. I'm going to go ahead and jump ship and go over to the DCU and see I could play Harvey Dent, and maybe they won't kill him off in the first movie.
You never know. I mean, and they also have a casting for the Joker, Barry Keoghan, but which, interestingly enough, played in another movie that Colin Farrell was in. What is it? Killing of a Sacred Deer. Apparently, it's a film where Colin Farrell's some surgeon or something, and this guy's like the killer that tries to go kill him. So he's already played a killer in one movie. Maybe he does kind of look creepy. So maybe he'll be a pretty good Joker too when he's young. So again, we're starting young with all these characters. So Scarlett Johansson, while she still looks like she's 30,
it's 40.
She's 40. I just wonder who she's gonna play. Is it gonna be like a Pamela Isley? Is she gonna play, a Harley Quinn before she turns Harley Quinn doctor?
She would be hot as Harley Quinn. I'm not gonna lie.
I
can see her as
agree.
Pamela Isley too. That'd be hot. But we'll have to wait and see. And as we get in the know, we will let you know. So I know this one's run a little long. There'll be some parts I'll cut. If we had a Patreon, you might see the uncut parts, but we don't. And you don't want to see the uncut parts because a lot of it was just this fucking looking here on something there. So we're not going to go into it because that's why we cut it. So, guys, as again, we're going to keep getting there. I mean, again, they're talking 2028. So we're a ways out from not only Supergirl, we're still 5.5 months out. You know, we've got Clayface, we're 8 months out, and Lanterns, and then of course Man of Tomorrow, and now we've got this project. So we're just going further and further out. So there's going to be a lot of information. We are going to do our best to keep you up to date and informed when the news comes out. However, as Mantis had alluded to, we have 8 fucking videos releasing next week, or at least that we have to do, of just the comic book stuff, because everything going on in the KO event. If you haven't yet, check that out. We have Mantis was awesome enough to actually make a full playlist of just the KO event, as well as we have playlists for the Absolute series as well too. So go check that out. You will get your fix of Batman as well as Batman 5. I just put that one out of this. So you'll have plenty of Batman if you need to get your fix until this movie gets, at least we get some more updates on it. So Mantis, do you have anything else?
No.
Subscribe.
Don't forget to like and subscribe, guys, and don't hit the bell notification so when we release the videos or any of the comic book videos, any of the news videos come out, you'll get a notification in your email. Or actually, do you get them in email too? I think you do. You'll get a notification in your email, as well as when you log into YouTube, and hopefully you're paying for premium because fuck ads. You'll see the little bell at the top right hand corner, and you'll be like, "Oh, they released a new video. I need to watch it." And boom, you hit it, and you see us again.
Now, to be fair, we're a small enough channel right now that you can watch our shit even if you don't have YouTube Premium. You don't get any ads, so we don't
That's
make any money
true.
off this channel. So there are no ads on there, so you do get the full video without it on our channel right now. So you guys can help change that by clicking, the like and the subscribe and all that good stuff. Because we're putting all this stuff out here for you guys. But to keep this under the time limit of your average Netflix video, that is going to do it for us on this episode of You, Me, and DC. Until next time, guys, we'll see you then.
Later.